Money is not the problem, you are just financially illiterate. Years ago, back then in college, about to write my first exams, contacted this buddy of mine. Hello bro, I'll be in your city soon. Can I stay over at your place? Oh, alright, for sure, you can come. I wrote the exam, got the admission. Few months later, I and this guy, we have problems. So he decided to kick me out. A decision he still apologizes for up until this day. So my friends, success is the best revenge. But that's not the discourse of today. He decides to kick me out. Because it was unfamiliar terrain, I called my auntie, explained the situation. I had nowhere else to go. Alright, give me 5 minutes, I'll be with you. 20 minutes later, the phone rings. It was her on the other side. Okay, there's this lady who was my friend. Her brother is still in state, so you can go over to his while searching for your own permanent place. For sure, picked up my bags, headed to the man's place. I saw the guy, we shook hands. He brought me into the apartment. Now I'm trying to be as concise as possible because there's a morale. So trying to skip all the nuances and unprofitable information. Few days later, something remarkable happened. Another person who was kicked out from his own apartment, his friend, came to join us. Mind you, this is friend was maybe in his 40s or something. Yeah, not my age mates, older than me by a lot. He came to the apartment and I believe 2 days later he was narrating a story of what transpired between him and his girlfriend. His girlfriend did not only steal all of his properties and run away, but she had induced him to borrow money. So borrow money from the company you work in and use salary to pay. Borrow money, let's spend, use salary to pay. Now, before we get into the latter part, imagine coming home after work, you boarded the bus, coming home, twisting your key, twist the doorknob, boom, empty apartment. How crazy is that? So he came home to an empty apartment, deep down in debt, with no woman, no properties. So he was virtually fucked. But the point I'm trying to make, and the direction I'm going with this is, my thoughts when I heard of that situation was, how dare you go into debt? Even worse, for the wrong reasons. I used to think everybody was financially literate, but my friend, I was absolutely wrong. This guy, nobody should ever go into debt, especially for the wrong reasons. He did not just loan money, but he spent all the money. Even if you're going to go into debt, it should be to take advantage of an emergency opportunity or something popped up. You really need to invest and you believe that you can pay back what you owe. Then of course, but from a micro perspective, I know some of you say, oh, equity is debt. Yeah, but the audience I'm addressing, majority of you do not have an idea of what equity is. Majority of you do not understand what financing is. So let's stick to the basic plane. Debt at any level isn't good, especially if you're starting out on your financial journey. The Bible captures it best. The borrower would always be a slave to the lender. So the moment you keep borrowing and borrowing and borrowing, you are effectively a slave. Let's look at the mortgaging strategy. I call it a strategy because it definitely is. It's what the government uses to keep you tied down to a job, working a shit job you don't like, accepting bullshit rules because you're scared that if you do not comply, you would lose your job, lose your house, lose your family, virtually your life. Say you get a mortgage. The average mortgage is 20 to 30 years, depending on what state you are. Get this mortgage, then let's not take into consideration inflation. Let's pretend as though inflation is not a concept and it doesn't exist. So you draw out a mortgage. You now realize that a huge chunk of your finances is going towards this mortgage. You have to cut back on your expenses, clip coupons, curtail every single thing. Don't go holidays, don't go trip with your family, all because you're trying to finance some mortgage. Fast forward 20 years later, after living a shit experience, you pay off this mortgage. You forget that there's something called property tax. Property taxes are as high as 30%, 40% even in some places. Say you pay 30 to 40% in property tax. Can you genuinely afford that annually? I'm sure you who's at home is sitting and going, well, he should be able to afford it. My friend, the average individual going into a mortgage has been beguiled by his realtor or anybody selling him that property with, this is the best investment in your life. Whoa, well, if this is the best investment, I sure might have to upscale this. So from your $200,000 budget, you upscale it to $500,000 because this is the best investment of your life. Say you pay 10% of $500,000. That's $50,000 annually. The average salary in the UK is £35,000. Can you genuinely pay? Can you afford to pay £50,000 annually? Exactly. And you know what happens when you don't pay your property tax? It gets taken away from you. So 20 years of dedicated slave work down the drain. So I'm not going to, does that mean I'm anti-mortgage? No. But it takes a level of financial intelligence to be able to navigate your way and come out unscathed. So it's not how much you have, but what you do with what you have. As always, my friends, it's a pleasure speaking to you. I'll see you in the next one.